Max, you always bring us such interesting insight. We see the ins and outs of the game that maybe we wouldn't see unless we were sitting next to a Stanley Cup champion. But what's better than one Stanley Cup champion is two Stanley Cup champions on your screen at the same time. We have Hal Gill joining us, a Stanley Cup champion with the Pittsburgh Penguins from 2009. 16 seasons in the NHL as we are underway here again in PPG Paints Arena for the start of the second period. But having Hal Gill with us now is such a privilege. Hal, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. I've enjoyed your show so far. A good game, and you guys are awesome. Thanks for having me on.
We are so grateful to have you here, and I have to say, we love the swag that you brought with you. I mean, you dressed for the occasion.
You know, some guys, you know, they live in the past. I'm not one of those guys. You know, like
no.
I'm up to date. I don't live in what I did in the past. I like to stay updated in what I'm doing now.
Right, move onward and upward. Hal Gill obviously won the Stanley Cup with the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2009. He's still celebrating. We are too in Pittsburgh, and we're hoping to bring that energy back to Pittsburgh with this team this year. So that's what we're doing. We're bringing you both on so we can bring this good aura to start the season.
Yeah, and we all know that the players, the Penguins players, are watching the show during their intermission, right? So they're taking our advice and everything. But Skillsy, I got to say, you are one of my favorite teammates that I ever played with. You would bring energy. You would bring fun to the locker room, to the games. You would slide all over the ice, and you would cover about 20 feet of ice. And Skillsy, just to start, like, what are you? You're obviously in Nashville now. What are you doing with your time right now?
I'm doing the broadcast for Nashville. I do a little bit of radio, a little bit of TV. I'm kind of, you know, we got a good crew down here in Nashville, and I played 2 years here, and we loved it. And so we moved back here, and you know, I got 2 kids in college and 1 kid that's a 14-year-old boy that's 6'3" now, and he's driving me crazy, and he's busy, and we're having a good time.
Does he play hockey also? Your girls are they into lacrosse?
Lacrosse players, yeah.
Yeah,
they're playing lacrosse at University of Rhode Island, and Talon is a lacrosse player, a hockey player, football player. He's kind of feeling it out. He doesn't know what he's doing, but
I think with his size,
he's a lot like me.
Yeah, he's going to have some options.
yeah, he can do. I'm sure he's a great athlete like you. But how have you been enjoying retirement? I know it's been like 12 years. You're done. Right?
Too long. Yeah. Has it been that long, Max?
I think so.
My last year was in Philadelphia with
me,
hanging out with you, and yeah, it's been good. I miss it, man. Like, obviously, look at me. We all miss it, but you know, it's exciting to do different things and doing the broadcast, and you guys are doing cool things. It's fun trying to figure it out, but I miss the boys, you know, and you. I appreciate all your nice comments. I think, you know, I always say you're my favorite teammate ever because you scored 2 goals in Game 7. It got me a Stanley Cup, so I'll take that. So thank you, mon ami. But that's yeah, no, we had some great times, and it was a good run, and I do miss it.
What do you remember from that? You know, let's talk about 2008. You got traded in Pittsburgh, and what do you remember, like, coming over, like, you know, losing the Stanley Cup final and then winning the next year? What were your favorite moments about that?
I just think the journey we went through, you know, like, and you know, since I'm talking to you, I'll bring you up first. I know you're talking about the big 3, but I just remember we played against Detroit, and we lost that one, Game 6. It was a good run, but we lost it. And like the next year, I remember talking to you. We were talking about how we're going to handle the next series, and you know, you said, and I still remember the meeting. You said, I tried to trash talk these guys. I get in there under their skin, and nothing I ever did got under the Detroit Red Wings. So we have to change the way we do things, and I think being part of that and changing the way we did things, and you know, going out there and you just put your head down and started grinding, and you became like a different player, right? I think you embraced it, and you had so much fun. You put your mouth aside and you started playing, and you got under his skin so many times that was part of your game, but you had to redefine your game, and I think we all did. And I think that's the thing that I remember most about those years.
What do you think it was, though, that you guys figured out when you're talking about you've tried all these things? What was it that was the turning point then? How did you start to identify yourselves, redefine how you played?
I don't know, Max. You got an answer for that? I think there's a lot of things.
Yeah, they were so mature. The Red Wings were really like a powerhouse, right? So they were so good, but you couldn't talk to Lidstrom. Like, he would have looked at you, he didn't care about you so much. He cared about playing hockey. So for us, it was about that. You're so right in what you say. Everybody accepted their role. Remember the Stahl, Kennedy, Cook line. Everybody was just on the same page. And I had a chance to play with Evgeny Malkin too on the line. So for me, I would go from a grinder that's try to start stuff around and try to get to like, okay, let's just play hockey and try to compete with them at that level. And that's what worked. And thinking about you, Hal, when I have memory of Game 7 and these times, I think about you and Scuds, you and Rob Scuderi, like you were such a force for us because they were like the two defensive-minded like guys that I often think about the last moment of Game 7 when we're all on the ice. It's me, you, Scuderi, Craig Adams, and Chris Kunitz that are just there and trying to block shots and try to, secure the victory. And that was great. And Skillsy, what are your favorite moment after winning the cup? I have a mental image of me and you, and I think I could find the picture of me and you and Mario Lemieux's fountain that night when we won, smoking a cigar when the sun was coming up. Oh, that was so great. That was so great.
Well, I think that my favorite thing is, and it's so clear in my head, is right after the game, everyone's on the ice, and I moved the net, and I sat on the back of the net. Like, I was just tired. Like, we were just tired, right? And I had a bottle of champagne, and I was sitting on the back of the net. My daughter was coming over and talking to me, and I have a picture of that. And I still remember that moment, like we gave it everything we got, right?
Skillsy, tell us a little bit about Kris Letang. You get in the team 2008, 2009, because we're obviously talking about Sid and Gino, but let's talk about the big three dogs. Kris Letang, when you get in the team like that, he's a young stud, and did you ever talk to him, or what was your thoughts on him when you showed up in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, well, he was a young guy, and he's just trying to figure it out. And I think my favorite memory is he was driving me from practice or to practice anyway, and someone recognized him, and I said, "Oh, you're like the king around here." And he goes, "No, not the king, the Prince of Pittsburgh." He said he called himself the Prince. They're like, he had swagger.
We played against Washington, which had a very, very good team, and we got them to Game 7. And to me, Game 7 was a crazy game. You had a breakaway from Alexander Ovechkin in the first moment of the first period, and then Fleury just robbed them with a glove save, and then we ended up taking the game over, winning 5-0, I think, for Game 7. Skillsy, what do you remember from these moments?
Yeah, no, I loved that. I feel like we had two guys that were competing with Ovechkin all the time, right? Every time we played Washington, it was Gino that wanted to prove that he's the best. Oh,
that was tight.
What's going on? You have Gino that wanted to prove he was the best Russian, and Sid wanted to just be the best player on the planet all the time. And so every time we played the Caps, it was lights out entertainment. It was like, how many games did we see like hat trick and hat trick, like Ovi and Sid going back and forth, and it was a lot of fun. Like I as a fan of hockey, like never mind I have to defend against these guys. I was like, this is pretty awesome. We're on the ice while this is happening, right?
Yeah, and you remember exactly that game too. I don't remember which game it was, but it was both hat tricks. Sid and Ovi had a hat trick during that game. It was just wild. And once we beat them, I thought that's when we kind of knew also that, that was in the second round. We knew we were going to go in Carolina, and we won game in 4 games, the conference, the East, the final against them. And then we had a chance to go back against Detroit. And just to go back there too, I remember watching the games. I think it was Chicago against Detroit. We clinched in 4 games against Carolina. And I remember watching Chicago, Detroit. I don't remember how many games they went at it, but I wanted to play Detroit so bad again. I wanted my revenge, you know. Osa went to Detroit, and it was kind of an extra little motivation in some way. Nothing against the guy who was such a good player, but that was the time, man. That was the time, Skillsy.
And I also remember, you remember that commercial, right? With Sid on the bench, and it's frozen in time, and he gets out and says, "Never again will I let this happen."
Yeah.
And it was like just written in the stars, like this is we're gonna get our revenge, and Sid's gonna win, and we're gonna be a part of it. And I just saw that commercial, and I was like, "Oh, this is meant to be."
Here, we don't just watch the Penguins. We live every tipped puck.
Unbelievable.
Every battle.
You need more of this.
Every new prospect.
This is a glimpse of the future.
Everything you love about the Pens, we do too.
I'm down here between the benches.
You know what that means, Pens fans?
Cheers to that.
At the front, did they score?
We manifested it.
Stream the Penguins all season long on SNP 360.
Welcome back to Unobstructed Views, giving you an alternate way to enjoy the Pittsburgh Penguins broadcast tonight as they lead 3-2, a big goal, Max. They got there to extend the lead by Wotherspoon. Of course, we're joined by Stanley Cup champion Hal Gill as well. He's been a great guest, very fitted for the occasion as well. We had just reminisced and talked so much about that 2009 Cup win, but Max, we're so interested as well all the time to hear about players and where they've come from and how they got to be a Stanley Cup champion and where they went after. And I know you talked a lot about yourself, but you respect a lot about Hal Gill and his career.
For sure. I mean, for a guy like Hal Gill, 1,108 games in the NHL, that's just amazing. But Skillsy, what do you remember about 2009, 2010? So we win a Stanley Cup and you signed for the Montreal Canadiens, right? That season after, my hometown, and you went to learn French down there. And what do you remember from that? Because you had a chance, like me, to play in the last game ever in the Mellon Arena, which was 2010. That was a crazy playoff series where I still can't believe that the Penguins lost. It was the Alak Price thing, and Alak was just such a goalie. A great goalie. They beat Washington in the first round in 7 games, and then it came to the Mellon Arena and they beat us in 7. What do you remember about this? And was it hard to play against your ex-teammates?
Oh God, yeah. No, you know what? It was. There's so many stories I could tell you about that series. But yeah, I wanted a 2-year deal, and I remember, God bless him, rest in peace, Ray Shero. He said, "I can't give you the 2 years. I want you for 1 year." And I wanted a family. So anyway, Montreal opened up, and it was a great fit for me. I enjoyed Montreal. You got a good place up there, Max. It's I know you love it, but I still miss it. It's a great spot. But we had a great run, and I remember I told Gino, and I used to mess around with him in practice and tell him I'm going to shut you down if you don't sign me. I'm going to play for another team, and I'm going to shut you down and make your life miserable. And I used to tell him that in practice all the time. And then to be able to win and shut down Mellon Arena was big for me. It was like a bittersweet thing because I loved that awful place. The Igloo was kind of dreadful, but it was our home, right? Like you got to love it. But that series was tough. I remember I got Chris Kunitz jumped on the back of my leg. I spent the night in the hospital because they had to do surgery on the back of my leg. And then I tried to play in Game 6, which was crazy in Montreal.
Yes.
And then made it back for Game 7. Sid came at me 100 miles an hour, and I swear to God, my leg just buckled under me, and I went, whoa! And I remember my partner, Josh Georges, at the time was like, I got to help you out because you're struggling right now.
Did you finish the game?
We found a way to get it done, and those guys are so hard to play against. I said that before. It's the Penguins at that time. I loved playing with them. It was a highlight every night, but playing against them was a battle, but something I loved the challenge because those guys are so good. And trying to play against Sid, we all know, like, his backhand pass is just as good as his forehand. You can't keep up with it.
Yeah, and he's
You
got
know?
such a big butt too, so he protects his puck
Yeah.
like anybody else, right? Like
No one gets
else.
lower than that guy.
Yeah.
You can't get lower than him.
What was your favorite memory about being a Pittsburgh Penguin? You know, you've played for different organizations throughout the NHL, but what did it mean to play in Pittsburgh to you?
There's one game in particular that we got beat 7-1, and I don't remember the game or the circumstance, but I was new to Pittsburgh, and I went out of the rink, and Max, you remember outside the igloo, they'd all stand up, all the fans would be there,
Yeah.
and I had my head down, I was buried, and I was depressed, and I had a handful, probably 30 fans going, we're going to get them next time. You guys keep trying, keep working. And I fell in love with Pittsburgh fans, and I think that's the biggest thing about being in Pittsburgh is the team was awesome. Obviously, we all know that. We won a cup. It's great. The players were great. You're one of the best teammates I ever had. We had such a close-knit group, but I think just being in that city and being around those fans, that was probably the thing that I'll treasure the most.
And it's so true, Hal, because we played for other teams before and after, and me just after, but I never found that back, you know. First of all, if you look at 2009, we're gonna have a bond like forever together. We were together at the Marc-Andre Fleury retirement night, so Hal came down with his beautiful wife in Montreal, and we were, I think, 6 or 7 guys from 2009, you know, like Fleury's favorite teammate from 2009. Sorry, the other guys, but it was so great, and I can go on and on talking about, you know, the fans in Pittsburgh and what it meant to us. But Skillsy, thank you so much for your time tonight. It was great for you to take a time off from. I know you work for the Nashville Predators, but for you to come and talk to us and to all the fans is just means a lot tonight.
Thank you so much.
Merci,
It's been a
mon
pleasure.
ami.
Love you, bud.
Thank you, guys.